Welcome, my people on the Village Boys podcast. This is your host, Trez, and boy, I tell you that these liberals are not going to kill me, man. News just reaching us is that Jimmy Kimmel is going to be back on air. if if that's not the most liberal thing ever on earth, then I don't know what it is, right? A celebrity who had a platform, a celebrity who had a platform got decommissioned, got deplatformed, right? And he went and begged instead of going solo, instead of going private, instead of going the YouTube route, instead of going indie route, instead of going independent. Jimmy begged his way back, and his fellow Hollywood friends, his fellow liberal friends, applied the necessary pressure, and they got him back in chains. So the man was temporarily free. Cut off his chains. He was free, standing tall like a man finally, with his two balls intact. He was free and independent, but the liberal mind decided to shackle himself back up, put himself back in chains, and said, let's go back and be chained up and independent and caged and dependent and work for master. That's what just happened. If you're liking this show so far, go ahead and click the like button. Let's break this down. Let's get an understanding of what happened. So, a few days ago, let's go ahead and watch this video so you have an understanding of what just happened.
Disney and the ABC network are taking Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. This follows a controversy over comments the late night comedian made Monday night about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer and the MAGA movement and their reaction to the assassination. Let's get straight to CNN's chief media affairs correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is going on?
That's right. This is fast developing this afternoon, Jake, amid pressure from the Trump-aligned FCC. And in the past few minutes, ABC confirmed to CNN that Kimmel's show will be off the air, quote, indefinitely. We have not yet heard from Kimmel or his representatives. That's how quickly this has been developing. But let's back up and look at what Kimmel actually said on the program that has caused controversy. This is from Monday night in his Monday evening monologue. Kimmel suggested that the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote, the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. He said, in between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Kimmel was expressing what we've heard some other liberals say in recent days, that the motives are unclear and that maybe the suspect in this case was a Republican or was some sort of far-right fringe figure. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion about that in recent days. There's a lot of evidence pointing in other directions about the suspect. But Kimmel was on the air talking about this, making a very serious commentary amid his jokes in his monologue Monday night. Here's where it became interesting earlier today. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a far-right webcast and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him. He also talked about possible regulatory punishments of Disney because there are lots of different stations that have licenses with the FCC. Within the past hour, we've heard from a big owner of stations that have affiliations with ABC, a company called Nexstar, saying that they were going to suspend Kimmel's show on their station. So in other words, about 24 stations were refusing to air Kimmel's show tonight as a result of this controversy. And then following word that some of those stations were basically revolting against Kimmel, Disney, the parent company of ABC, decided to yank the show entirely. So that's all we know at the moment. We know that Kimmel will not be on the air tonight or for the foreseeable future because the network says the show has been yanked off the air indefinitely.
So you heard that. The show was yanked off the air indefinitely because some wuss at the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, probably a Trump supporter, some MAGA dude, emotional, broken, went up to a fringe right-wing platform and cried over there. And then the cascading effect happened where everybody got so emotional. Americans, a country of all emotional people. They pulled out. They said they were going to pull out the show. The chair of the FCC, who's supposed to be not neutral, is the far right MAGA conspirator person. And I don't like liberals, but I also don't like hypocrites in the Village Boy podcast because this will share hypocrisy. How can the chair of the FCC be so partisan? How can the chair of the FCC be so partisan when we know that the country is split into two? We got liberal channels and conservative channels. And the chair of the FCC, who is very conservative, has to go pander, cry, and whine and sassy up on conservative MAGA channels and apply pressure so they pull Jimmy Kimmel's show. But that's not even my concern. I don't really care that some wuss at the FCC was able to go whine with his friends and they pulled out. Thing is that the man got freedom. The man was free in a situation where everybody wants to go solo. And the liberal virus, the liberal toxicity, the mentality, the cancer that is the liberal mind that does not understand independence, crawl up back into the man's head and said, go and fight for your right. Go and fight for your position to be at the service of master. Go fight for your right. Imagine that you're still gonna go up against the likes of this clown Brandon Carr type Brendan Carr type people. So what's he gonna do now when they bring back the show? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna be controlled? Is he gonna be measured in what he says? He had the freedom to go solo and give a middle finger to Brendan Carr and say, "F you, little wuss MAGA person." He had that freedom to do that. But the liberal, the Democrat mind, the weak mind of a Democrat who is forever dependent on the institution to work for them, kicked in. Imagine that you think you didn't do right. I don't find nothing wrong in what he said. I didn't find anything in what he said. That has been standard practice that when something like this happens in America, they say, oh, he's probably going to be on the right. The shooter's going to be on the left. That has been standard American conversation. Why is it different now with Charlie? Is it because he sent Charlie? The Catholic Church is going to canonize him and make him a saint? Even though he wasn't Catholic. Maybe in sarcastic. I don't know if he worked. But let's get back. And you have the FCC trying to do 1980s type censorship, and you have companies within companies, the whole bureaucratic system. You got companies that nobody even knows. We all know ABC and those NBCs. Nobody knows Netstar. Nobody knows Sinclair. But these are the companies that owns the TV stations. And even if he comes back, Netstar, that has 32 ABC channels, might still say, we're not going to air him. Sinclair has 30 plus. They're going to say, we're not going to air him. Today, the 22nd, Disney decides to drop this milquetoast statement. After thoughtful conversation with Jimmy, we're turning the show Tuesday to avoid further inflaming a tense situation. No details on what those conversations meant. Dana Walden urged him to take the temperature down. So they're begging him, they're cajoling him. Oh, dial it down, dial it down. ABC has been sued for this by. This is a dude with a platform. They're asking him to dial it down in 2025 when he can go to YouTube He can go to Patreons. He can go to any network. He can go to X. He could even go to the liberal YouTube, Blue Valentine, or whatever liberals do, the channel that liberals rush to when Trump won the election, and then nobody ever heard about that channel. He could even go there and say whatever he wants to say. And he would not be controlled, and he would have 15 million people. He would have 20 million people. He would grow his platform because he would be organic and he would be free to spew liberal gospel as he wants to. But what does the liberal do? Crawls back on his knees and begs for his place back. The most liberal cancer I have ever seen in my life. If this does not tell you who liberals truly are, you have the door has been opened that you walk. And the thing is, he had the platform already given to him. He was not going to build anything new. He had the money, he had the name, he has the recognition, he has everything. All he needed to do was just start solo and say, I'm starting the Jimmy Kimmel Uncensored, like Piers Morgan Uncensored. Look at how big Piers Morgan has gone. 30 minutes, 1 hour, TV show, conversation. You do your own thing. Control your own stuff. No master over you. No control. Nobody's telling you. No Brendan Carr trying to conservative networks and say, oh my God, look at this. None of that stuff. Just absolute freedom. This is the liberal mind. Let's look at the numbers. Here's the gut punch. Let's look at these numbers. Kimmel could have flipped this suspension into a 15 million plus private empire. He could have done that. Kimmel Uncensored on YouTube, Spotify, 5 episodes a week, leverage about 20 million subs, viral outreach of about 40 million monthly views. He could have done this. He could have, because he was so controlled in ABC that people started just running away from him. But if he had gone solo, used this opportunity and just given a middle finger to the FCC and be like, F you, ABC, F you, Disney, F everybody, I'm going solo. Everybody is on private network. The conservatives are and I'm not one to give an outlet to liberals because I don't care. I don't even want them to win. But I'm pointing out the cancerous nature of the liberal mind. Like how when slaves had been beaten down so much, and when they were let to be free, they looked outside and they decided to stay in house and then run for their freedom. That's what just happened to Jimmy Kimmel, a man who doesn't own his own image, who doesn't own his own mentality, who doesn't even own his own self. That's the liberal mind. Right? So estimations, just conservative math here. YouTube ads, 200K to 400K a month. That's roughly about 2.4 million to 4.8 million a year. At $6 CPM, 55% cut. Podcast sponsors, 150K to 300K a month, 1.8 million to 3.6 million a year at $30 CPM. Memberships, 100K to 200K a month. That's about 1.2 million to 2.4 million a year. From 50K to 100K at 5 to 10 month exclusives. Merch, tours, deals, books, all of this stuff. 600K to about 1.8 million. Brand syndication, 1.2 to 3 million. Probably a connection, Netflix. What do you have? Netflix, Hulu, and all those kind of things. So a year he's cutting about 7.2 to 15.6, scaling to about 50 within the Joe Rogan's caliber kind of stuff. That's where this guy would have been playing in. That's where he would have been playing. We would have been saying he's the next Joe Rogan, he's the next Tucker Carlson, he's the next Candace Owens. He's an up-and-coming village boy. No censorship. You own your own IP. You own your style via fans, not FCC whims. Rogan is swimming somewhere around 200 million in Spotify. Over 11 million listeners. Dillon, Tim Dillon, about 2 million a year, up 1 million subs. Kimmel got 20 times the head start to these guys. But nope, he walks up with his little friends in Hollywood. They threaten ABC, rally a bunch of low-life celebrities, and sling back for a thoughtful chat. That is the liberal trap. Liberals are trapped in master identity. You wind back to master instead of building your own. Shapiro, Crowder, Gutfield, they own their own platforms. They went solo and they're banking millions. But the liberal cannot conceivably free himself or herself. When Joanne Reed was let go of MSNBC, instead of going and say yes, she cried for 2 weeks. The liberal mind cried for 2 weeks. Butterscotch was coming off her nose, mucus, all of the things, crying and begging and trying to figure out, oh, Rachel Maddow makes more than me. I make 3 million, she makes 20 million. You've been let free to go into an ecosystem that is just raving for you to run wild and build your own platform. The liberal mind doesn't think like that. They want to cry what is fair, what is unfair, instead of building, getting to work, putting the brand, rebranding yourself, understanding that you now are absolutely free to say whatever it is you want to say and say it to your audience. If they were organic, liberals are so dependent. So they want to cry fascism, petitions, and sign on boycotts. All they do is chaining themselves. You had the freedom to just do you. Jimmy Kimmel, go solo. You're not starting with 150 subscribers like me. You're not building from. I could say if I ever have 1 million, I started with 1 subscriber. You're not starting with 1. You're starting with at least 2 to 3 million subs. People loyal to you. You're hitting the market with a bang, and all you need to do is understand the framework, get somebody who's already there, and they're building with you, and you're doing your show, you're doing your interviews, you're having all of these liberal celebrities come and do interviews in the Jimmy. Same thing you're doing, you're just doing it now on YouTube. On your own time. Asking the questions you want to ask, not controlled, not censored. The liberal still says, no, I want to be controlled. I want master to make the decisions for me. Hurt. Because I don't know how you could look at this and then you say, yes, I want liberal education for my kids, because they don't teach independence. They teach dependence. I don't know how you could look at what just happened to Jimmy Kimmel and say, yes, this is what we want for America, dependency. And the entire liberal establishment, not one person, told Jimmy Kimmel, sir, go solo. Be your own man. Not one, not a single person. Not one person said go solo. And now he's back.
Disney is bringing him back on the air tomorrow.
Disney is bringing him back on the air tomorrow. It's Tuesday. He'll be back. We should have been getting subscription notification on YouTube, building his channels around, selling merch, the Jimmy Kimmel merch, every kind of thing. Merchandise, cups, t-shirts, hoodies, extra money, blowing off. Even if you're not making as much money as you were making with ABC, but you're free. You are free. You don't have this censorship and obligation and tie downs to the FCC, and you don't know if it's a MAGA FCC, if it's a Republican FCC, it's a Democrat FCC chair. You don't know who's there and how they're going to treat you. You want freedom. No, the liberal mindset, no. Let's go watch how his mighty return is being celebrated in liberal quarters.
ABC says in a statement that we made the decision last week to suspend production to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment. But now, after having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, the ABC says we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. So Kimmel's getting back to work.
Wow, Brian, that is significant, especially given that some of the players outside of Disney in a corporate setting, like Nexstar and Sinclair, they essentially have deals that allowed them to preempt his show, and that's part of the reason that it was suspended. Yeah. Do we know how they might react to this?
We don't, and that becomes a big question now. Will these local station affiliates choose to air Jimmy Kimmel Live, or will they continue to protest the comedian, even though the network is bringing him back nationwide? ABC does gently chastise Kimmel in this statement. The statement says, quote, "The decision to suspend him, we made it because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive." So they're very gently saying they disagreed with Kimmel last week, but obviously they're bringing him back as of tomorrow.
They're bringing him back. They disagree with him, but they're bringing him back. Who wants this level of control? Except the liberal. Liberals cannot be independent. Liberals are like leeches. They have to attach. They have to feed off something else. A man with the potential to gain 15 million in subs. The man to be the next liberal Joe Rogan. Begs his way, protests his way, fights his way, crawls his way back. I saw this post on X that I wanted to share because I know it's a liberal channel. It's Brooklyn Dad Defiant. He's like a super liberal guy. Huge breaking. It's a breaking news. Disney just caved to pressure from protests. Jimmy Kimmel is returning to TV tomorrow night. Hell yeah. That's the liberal mind right there. So it's not only Jimmy, it's this dude. He's happy that Jimmy got his chains back on. He's excited. Hell yeah. The protest won. We won. We beat ABC to subscribe back to ABC. So ABC tells us what we're going to do. We're back in chains. We're back under massa. That's how liberals think. Let's read up on some liberal comments where it says no one caved but Jimmy, right? Resurrected 3 days later. Wasn't there another guy like that? They're happy. They're happy. Don't crack the champagne yet. Disney said they would reinstate the show, but Sinclair, one of those, I don't even know, station owners, said they won't carry his show. But nobody's saying, nobody's asking, why didn't you go solo? Why didn't you go indie? Why didn't you go private and be your own man? Have your own platform. Not a single liberal, because it's not in the foundation, it's not in the DNA of a liberal to go independent, to go solo, to go private, to build from the ground up. The liberal mind is a leeching mind. It's a dependent mind. That's it for tonight. Let's wrap up. It's been your host, Stress, for the Village Boy Podcast. Go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section. And liberals need to do better. I would have really loved to see Jimmy Kimmel go solo, but unfortunately, he's a liberal. It's not something that's going to happen. It's not in the nature of liberals to do things like that. So we're not going to be seeing that anytime soon. But hey, if you're here and you want to grow the channel, go ahead and subscribe and like, and let's keep talking on these social issues. Thank you.